Hello, welcome to CATEX TV. This is a broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Wednesday, July 20th, 2011. In breaking news, the American heat wave continues. The Midwest is baking. That weather is going to be on the East Coast by tomorrow and on Friday. Actual thermometer temperatures in the New York, Boston, and Philadelphia and Washington areas are expected to be well over 100 degrees on Friday. The heat indexes will be much higher. There'll be a massive drain on American power resources. In the UK yesterday, Rupert Murdoch and his son testified in front of a parliamentary committee. Today it's Prime Minister Cameron's turn answering questions. He's just admitted that perhaps hiring a former editor of the News of the World, Mr. Murdoch's newspapers, was a mistake. We'll see what else Mr. Cameron comes out with today. Meanwhile, the French government is saying that perhaps the situation in Libya could be resolved with Muammar Gadhafi still remaining in the country. That's a big shift, and it's unknown whether or not the Americans or the British are on board with that, but that's coming out of the French Foreign Ministry. Afghanistan today is the scene of reports circulating that the Taliban leader Mullah Omar is dead. There have been some tentative declarations from some Taliban outlets saying that that is not true. And in the United States yesterday, President Obama said that he could embrace the so-called U.S. Senate Gang of Six debt limit plan. This is a group of 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats that would put together about $3.5 trillion of budget cuts over the next 10 years, but also close some corporate loopholes and raise the debt limit. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is increasingly further out on thin ice, yesterday passing a balanced budget resolution, which the President has threatened to veto, and the Senate won't pass anyway. So they're up to antics with no purpose in sight. Bermudian reinsurer Platinum Underwriters has swung to a net loss of about $178 million for the first half of the year. Last year, for the first half, they made about $140 million. Results reflected a 13.7% decline in earned premiums to $355 million and a more than doubling of claims costs from $236 million up to $479 million. That, of course, is a result of the Q1 earthquakes in New Zealand and Japan and the Q2 tornadoes and storms in the U.S. Despite the first half losses and the expected active Atlantic storm season, CEO Michael Price said, "We enter the hurricane season strongly capitalized and well positioned for the subsequent January 1st renewal period." There's been a large earthquake in Central Asia, 6.4 in the densely populated Fergana Valley. The quake struck about 18 miles southeast of the Uzbek city of Fergana in the east of the Central Asian country. It measured 6.2. There were no immediately word on casualties. The Fergana Valley is split between Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. It's Central Asia's most densely populated area. Lord Levine, the outgoing chairman of Lloyd's, was in New Zealand yesterday, and at a breakfast address to the Insurance Brokers Association of New Zealand, he said that the New Zealand quakes are likely to cost Lloyd's $2 billion New Zealand dollars. Lloyd's has issued a loss estimate of about $1.2 billion US for the New Zealand quake. However, a further earthquake hit in June to Christchurch would have added to that figure. In addition, Lloyd's warned at the time that actual claims may vary as they come in. The board of Transatlantic Holdings has turned down Validus's offer, but opened the door for a revised approach by Validus on better terms. In a statement, Transatlantic said it remains committed to the June 12th merger agreement with Allied World, and that the bid by Validus that came in on July 12th, quote, does not constitute a superior proposal. However, they reaffirmed their recommendation for the Allied World deal. They did say that the board had determined that the Validus proposal, quote, is reasonably likely to lead to a superior proposal. And they went on to say that the failure to enter into discussions regarding the Validus proposal and to possibly get a superior proposal would result in a breach of the board's fiduciary duties under applicable law. Consequently, the board has determined to offer to engage in discussions and exchange information with Validus. Transatlantic, which is being advised by Goldman Sachs, noted that there can be no assurance that Validus will come back with a better bid. Commenting on the transatlantic announcement, Allied World CEO Scott Kamalani was confident that his company would succeed in pushing through the transaction with TRC despite the possibility of an improved Validus bid. I tell you, that's all happening probably within a group of about 25 people. Here's an interesting story. It sort of has you scratching your head. Marsh, one of the largest brokers in the world, has decided to launch a new claims unit which will harness all of its expertise and knowledge around the world. David Peugeot has been put in charge of the new practice. He's going to oversee its operations from London. He's been given the title Head of Claims for the International Division and Europe and EMEA. Marsh said companies that manage the claims process effectively are better able to protect their resources. Peugeot, who will work with about 1,300 Marsh claims employees around the world, said, with the formation of a global claims practice, we'll be in a better position to respond with agility to our clients' claims anywhere in the world. Yeah, it's good. In the United States, the FBI has arrested 16 people on charges that they have participated in major cyber attacks, including an attempt to cripple eBay's PayPal website as retribution for dropping WikiLeaks as a client. FBI agents carried out the arrests in 9 states and the District of Columbia yesterday for a cyber assault that took place last December, allegedly coordinated by the hackers group Anonymous. The FBI executed more than 35 search warrants around the country as well. It was the largest response by authorities tied to a recent spate of high-profile cyber attacks. Stuart Baker, a former top official with the U.S. Homeland Security Department, said that the FBI arrests were an attempt to scare hackers from engaging in cyber attacks. Quote, I think it makes it a lot less likely that people will join the next digital lynch mob. Of course, if there's unable to reach a debt resolution, the FBI will be closed. Presumably, the anonymous hacking group reads the same newspapers we do. Here's an interesting story. Most people know who this man is. This is Yao Ming. He became one of Asia's best-known athletes. He just announced his retirement from basketball from the National Basketball Association. Mr. Ming is 7 feet 6 inches tall. He weighs 310 pounds. He was drafted by the Houston Rockets in the NBA in 2002. He had a very promising career, did very well with the NBA. However, he's been out injured for the past 4 years. Apparently, that large size ended up causing foot problems and knee problems. He made about $90 million in salary with the Houston Rockets, and he became one of the most popular figures in Asia. He was declared the richest celebrity in China for 6 successive years by Forbes magazine. He represented China at 2 World Olympics, and we wish Mr. Ming the best. He starred in a television commercial in the U.S., a couple of TV commercials, and he always seemed to be a gentle soul. It's unfortunate that his career has been cut short, and I'm sure we will be hearing from him again. He's the type of person, it seems, that may have many other off-court activities. Hopefully, they'll be good ones. That's all the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.